everybody, and welcome to the next episode of Adventures with
Toad
and Timberdoodle. And today we also have Doodly Doo and Doodly Dot, I guess, the Timberdoodles. So we figured you can't explore a wetland unless you have some young energy with you.
That's true, and I'm not young anymore.
And we figured 2- and 4-year-olds, that they've got enough energy for everybody. So, Toad, what do you hear talking behind us?
I'm hearing chorus frogs, and earlier, as you were coming down the trail, I was listening to some leopard frogs.
Ah, cool.
Yep.
I'm guessing all of our noise scared them away, maybe?
Well, they're still there. I didn't see anybody leave, so we're good.
Very good. Well, we are here in Jefferson County Park at the little wetland that we call the Holmes Wetland. So if you drive in the main entrance road, there's a red gate right before you get to the Nature Center office area. And that takes you over to the Holmes addition. And over here we have the wetland. And it's been here for about how long, Toad?
Oh, so long. I don't know.
I like to pepper her with questions that she doesn't know the answer to. So awesome, we're gonna explore this wetland, and you'll see a couple videos coming soon from things that we found in the wetland, and we're gonna be asking you what they are.
Awesome. Well, we have found some really cool things in our ponds today, and thanks to the help of Emmy and Malachi. And we have 3 questions for you. You have to identify the following 3 creatures from our wetland here. Item or critter number 1, right there. Oops. Here's another view of a little bigger one. Right there. You got a good view of that one?
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's number 1. That's kind of an easy one. You should be able to figure that one out, I think. This guy right here, now you're like, he doesn't look too well, but he's just playing dead. He's okay. That's number 2, one of my favorite creatures right there. And last but not least, can you identify? Too small. You'd never be able to see it. This guy right here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Jumpy little fella.
Keep holding on. We're almost there.
The suspense.
Oh, for Pete's sakes. There, there. There's one. There's 2 right there. See? Oh. They're like, we want to go back to the water. All right, folks. Write down in the comments what you think they are.
Okay, if you said tadpole, you are correct. Tadpole is part of a frog's life cycle. There's 2 tadpoles that we have in the container here. They're showing you their booties right now. Let me see if I can spin it and get you to see their heads. Also in this container is another part of the frog's life cycle, the egg case. And it's kind of on your side there of the container. It's getting moved around by the tadpole tails. But we're guessing by the size of the egg case that this is from one of our smaller frogs, maybe a chorus or a cricket frog. And they are, when they are an adult, they're still very small in size. And so the smaller the frog, the smaller the egg case. So Emmy has some different parts of the life cycle here that she's going to show you. So first, the frog lays the eggs. Emmy, can you hold up the eggs there to the camera? Yes, these are the frog eggs. These are just plastic examples. And then from the eggs hatch what, Emmy?
Hatch baby frogs.
Baby frogs, which we call tadpoles. And when they're first born, they look like what we showed you in the container there. They have a head and a tail. And then as time progresses, they grow back legs. Now, bull and green frogs that we have here in Iowa, they will stay as a tadpole for 2 seasons. So one spring, over winter, and then the next spring they'll start hatching or growing their back legs. And then from there, they grow their front legs. So this one I think is like a hybrid. It kind of looks like a frog, but it still kind of looks like a tadpole because it has the tail. At this point, they're still using their gills and they're breathing the oxygen through the water. Then that tail reabsorbs back into the body, and we have a frog, no tail anymore, and this frog is going to breathe its oxygen through the air just like us. Take a deep breath, Emmy. Yep, they'll breathe air just like we do. So that is the life cycle of a frog.
All right, here's our next creature for identification. Now you're going to be amazed at these guys because you have seen these before, but you probably have just never seen them when they're teenagers like this, right? So right now I'm going to pan up to Brittany, and she's going to show you what these guys look like when they're all grown up.
So you're seeing one part of the life cycle of a dragonfly. So almost everybody knows what a dragonfly is right here. And then the dragonfly will mate, and the females will lay eggs, and they lay their eggs into the water. From the eggs hatch these dragonfly nymphs. Sometimes we call them dragonfly teenagers. That's a little bit easier for kids to say. The dragonfly nymph will grow, and then when it's ready, it will climb up on sticks or branches that are emerging from the wetland or pond. And then their exoskeleton, the outside of their body, will shed, and out comes the adult dragonfly. So later in the summer, we start to find these exoskeletons out and around the wetland, and those look pretty similar to the dragonfly teenagers. Now, dragonflies and damselflies are two different things. We didn't find any damselfly nymphs today. They look kind of similar, but dragonflies have 4 wings that are out all the time, and damselflies have a more slender, long body. Anything to add on that, Therese?
Well, you can tell by the way the damselfly holds its wings, that's a little bit different from the dragonfly as well. The coolest thing about dragonfly nymphs is, I'm going to hand this over to you,
Yes.
We'll switch sides. The coolest things about these critters, and they're my favorite pond critter, is they have two adaptations that are awesome. First of all, they have the world's coolest lower lip. Here's my lower lip, right there. I can't do much with it, right? Dragonflies, nymphs, these little guys here, have a lower lip like an arm. So if something goes swimming by and it looks good to them, bam! They shoot that lower lip off and grab it, bring it back for them to eat. Pretty cool. They also have jet propulsion. Their air tubes are inside their backside. And so when they pull in water and get out the oxygen, and then they can take that same water and they can shoot it out the rear end, and they can scoot across the pond using jet propulsion. So that's the coolest thing, in my opinion. Jet propulsion, world's coolest lower lip that a dragonfly teenager has. Okay, if you guessed crayfish for these little critters, you are correct. These are crayfish, also called crawdads or crawfish, all depending on what you want to call them. They're very cool. These guys are small, not very old yet, but we'll get him out later. But they can grow to be about the length of your hand. They got these great pinchers in front that they use to tear apart food and grab things. And they're an omnivore, so they're going to eat both plants and animals, like to eat a lot of decaying critters. But they will also eat maybe a little fish, tiny fish if it swims by, some worms, that sort of thing. Crayfish are crazy important to the wetland because they're such an important part of the food chain. The minks like to eat them, raccoons like to eat them, frogs like to eat them, fish like to eat them, wading birds like to eat them. So they're an important part of the food chain. And here in Iowa, we have 8 different species of native crawdads. Now, what's cool is they don't have a skeleton inside. They have an exoskeleton. And because of that, that restricts their growth. So they shed that outside skeleton and grow a little bit bigger. And when they're tiny, tiny babies, which is about this tiny, they'll probably shedding their skeleton every day. They get about this size, maybe they're shedding it once a week, and then they'll get even bigger as they grow up. So they're pretty cool critters and a really important part of a wetland.